going on? I haven't talked about this kind of a topic in a while, but basically like discernment of spirits, stuff like that, and just like, for instance, the term there's overlap in narcissism, borderline personality disorder, and demonology, and freaking understanding spirits, spiritual discernment. But there's overlap between what is that? Man, I can't even remember what I was gonna say. Hindering spirit, dude, and what was the other one? Man, it was a hindering spirit and an energy vampire. Okay, because the energy vampire, in a way, is a hindrance. Okay, and it can be a persistent annoyance, like the Delilah spirit, which is a constant nagging and an oppressive, like making you jump through hoops. You know what I'm saying? And just look, and really like psy-op and war of attrition, working you over and taking you for a ride, not the good kind. Like, yikes. I've been that guy, but I wouldn't want to be that guy. Look, sometimes, it's like, I've had it happen to me. When I see someone going through it, I know what I'm talking about, because I've been through it, in a way. And it's like, look, and on this side of it, looking at it, it's like, look, all right, I know what's going to happen now. Because when it was going on with me, it's like a keto, and it's like, whoo. It's like, next thing you know, you're on your back, and you're looking up at the sky, like, what just freaking happened? And you got to stand up, and they can do it even again, and you still just don't know what the frick happened, because it's just, whoo. That's the word salad, man. That's the blame shift. That's these tactics that people who are, like, basically possessed, you're not even really arguing with a person at that point to some extent, or they're highly under the influence and suggestion of outside forces. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, I'm not sure if you do, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, please lend me your imagination for a second, dude, and just look at this thing objectively and just hear me out. I don't know, that might be impossible for some people, but basically an energy vampire, that can be a person, that can be a situation, like work. If you have an oppressive system, exploitative system that you got your back bent over a barrel right now, and you need to get this dough, or else you can find yourself doing some crappy stuff for some crappy people. And that's kind of like an energy vampire to the point where now you're just like in a zombie, like catatonic state, and you're like this all the time. We're in brain fog because look, you've been living like a robot most of the time because you've had just like in a bad relationship or growing up in an abusive household. The symptom of the shutting off them emotions and to survive the constant emotional dysregulation and discharge and dumps of I don't know, man, just rogue, narkish, the common societal narkage that we all got to freaking, just live through, man, and just process it later, because at the time it doesn't make no freaking sense. But after you get on the other side of it and you've seen it, and you can say that's like a spirit, that's like a spirit could just be like an attitude, or like a character that people get into. Like they can get in this competitive mode, and if they play, it's kind of like if you keep feeding the two wolves inside of us, right? You feed the evil one, it's like you get stronger, kind of the thing. I mean, allegorically speaking, but energy vamps are like say you just got a raise or something, and then somebody was like, man, did you pay that warrant? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, like what? Like, I forgot I even had a warrant. Thanks, but couldn't you have told me that like later or before now? If you knew that all along, I mean, like, why you drop it right now at the same moment that coincides with my moment where it's like, I should be popping the top off something and saying, cheers, buddy. But now I'm all weirded and full of anxiety, right? And my vibration went, and now all my motivation, like, to go out and get it in the first place, now I feel like hiding in a corner somewhere, in a dark freaking corner. Because this person intentionally, like, waited like a sniper and was like, bam, and just hit you somehow at the fucking exact moment. Like, okay, I'm not sure if that ain't spiritual, a demon inside of a person who's that freaking cunning, or some synth that is like a Terminator biometrics humanoid creatureoid. You know what I'm talking about? But it's remarkable, and it's freaking almost seems supernatural. Their timing, the expert. But what's weird about it is it's almost like, is it a legion of spirits, or are these people just like lionesses? Like, somehow they copy each other and start to, like, it almost seems like they went and had a meeting, like, on a football team, and strategized this stuff sometimes, the way that the gaslights and the simultaneous, like, look, attacks at your manhood. Like, this is from my perspective. I don't know. Listen, I know how, like, out at a bar or something, a woman might be showered with attention from these guys, and then, like, disapproval from the women, and then this other group of, they might be like, look, these things, like, it's part of the Willie Lynch in general, which is a societal narc programming, which is a kind of a spirit. It's like team spirit, school spirit, neighborhood love, or gang affiliation, neighborhood stuff like that. That stuff does actually whip up people with enough kind of weird, like, almost possession, where they'll kill and fight and, like, look, spray paint shit on walls to somehow impose their spirit in a way, dude. And literally, their symbols are like magical sigils. And this, like, what I'm talking about, this is like, this is like, kind of like the underbelly of the weird, psychic violence, corporatist, eco-fascist, tyrannical, oppressive kind of evil, mechanical, is out here sucking and just taking in souls and energy and money and all this, like, sinful activity. You know what I mean? And look, this is the underbelly of what's fueling these strange spiritual manifestations in people. Like a hindering spirit, for instance, man. So it's like, the energy vampire, freaking part of the swap, which is like, look, say you're in a good mood when you should be celebrating. Somehow, look, they were all, like, miserable, right? So they dropped this thing. Now all of a sudden they feel good, and now you feel like crap. That is a swap. That is literally an energy swap, where they took your vibrations, put you down here in fear and desperation, low vibration of jizzle, and now all of a sudden they're emotionally regulated now. Like, for some reason they got their fix, and somehow by your downfalls they come up. And in a way, man, you'll see that a hindering spirit, that is a hindering spirit in a way in your life, by their constant, frequent Delilah nagging, freaking, and just sabotaging, and, like, look, all this shit, it does kind of give you this brain fog, where you're like, and you're more likely to snap and think evil thoughts, and, like, look, murder with your words, freaking, and worse, you know, and then, you know, you see a spirit of anger, or a freaking, manifest, psychotic break. Look, these are just crazy terms, man. But they all kind of overlap with this discernment of spirits. With discernment of spirits, you got to understand the name, call out the spirit, understand what it does. And just like a familiar spirit, that means kind of like an intelligence agency. In the spirit world, that's what Ouija boards and fortune tellers and tarot card people are using to make their prognostications. But I understand what they're doing. I don't practice those things, but I understand what they're doing in the manifestation of some of the spirits and the modes that they're using to acquire such kind of intel, it would seem. So these things are all working in concert in a way. So it's like the more that you know, like calling out the spirit, knowing how it works, its personality, its MO. It's like, look, you can trace out the name of the spirit. It's like the stuff is it's pretty complex, man. It's like you can actually, it's like there's types and shadows in scriptures, almost like coded in there, right? Freaking, and these spirits operate in these kind of patterns, and it's like there's a bunch of codes and patterns and sequences, and if you start to see them enough, you'll be like, man, that's enemy action. And stuff you can almost like predict certain stuff, certain attacks that are coming by the manifestation, by the like personality of the spirits that are working in kind of in concert in a group, like the group gaslight and all attacks kind of like at your dignity in the same time. Like, look, and are they being controlled by the quantum computer? It's crazy, but it would seem there's like more going on than I can comprehend, and it's meant to be comprehended by man. But I know that there's spiritual forces at work. In other words, it's like influences and things that have control and great influence over our our beliefs and our state of mind. You know what I'm saying? And you can also, I mean, it's simple as also looking at a person, and if they're all sad and depressed, that's a low spirit. And if they're all freaking bragging and boasting, well, that's a high, haughty spirit, right? So there's kind of like discernment. Part of it's kind of psychology-ish, and the other part is kind of like almost like, it is almost like some kind of, what you think of like wizards and weird stuff like that in a way. Forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, anyway, man, the way that, you know, the conjurer conjuring up spirits and demons, I mean, there is some like truth to that, but it's like that's not the stuff that I deal with, but I understand that for some people that use it, it works. So they're like literally like wizards, man. Freaking what you would read in books, man, that are based kind of not on actual history. What is it called? Fiction. Anyway, man, it's like when you hear a book about somebody who's dealing with spirits, that's not fiction, or that's non-fiction. So it's like, look, I've read some books about it, and it sounded at first like, but no, every single freaking chapter in this freaking one book, this Bob Larson book, synchronized with all kinds of weird, like, things that happen in the sequence. In this sequence, when I read the freaking book, and for instance, but anyway, if you look into deliverance ministry and also discernment of spirits, and just look at spirits and spirits from the Bible, and then Just do a search on all that and you'll figure it out.